Are we live? Okay, there we go. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Shade of the Evening. We're going to be doing our second, deep dive, I guess, into the Sworn Sword. I don't know if it's the Southern in me that does that. Sworn Sword. But anyway, I am. And last week we had them trying to train the peasants that they have in the villages to fight. And in case, Lady Weber and whoever she has, which is a lot more than what they have, knight squires, bowmen, just about anybody you can think of. So now they've practiced and they are underneath the oh, there's Robbie. Hey, Robbie. All right. What was that sound? That's weird. Okay. Anyway, so we have them underneath taking a bath, and they're getting everybody bathed. And then y'all were talking about Sam Stoops' wife and how she is indispensable, essentially.
A domestic goddess.
Domestic goddess, as
domestic goddess. She's washing clothes. Now she isn't. It never says who fills up the other guy, Rob and Watt and Treb, and is there a Rob? Or was that from something else? All of
There's
those
a big
guys.
Rob in our little Bad News Bears crew.
Big Rob. That's it. He doesn't know his left from his right.
Hold on.
Okay.
Wait. We all know each other, but you need to introduce yourself because we might have a new viewer.
I sure did forget, Moni.
So our host with the mostest is Miss Carrie, Shade of the Evening over here. I'm Moni G, and to this side.
My name is Lori. I'm known as Steel 510 Rain. I'm in the middle. And we have Cece coming. She's just loading, but she will be here soon.
Yes.
Mrs. Duncan the Tall.
Cheers. So sorry, I know, we're just excited to get into this, you guys, because this is
we
got a big chunk to eat.
Our
No, that's all right. I was just wait, we haven't introduced ourselves.
Right.
She's our expert.
Do you guys hear an echo or feedback, or is it just me?
I do. I don't know why I'd have it. I mean, I'll turn my speakers down, but the interface has changed to the microphone, so the only thing y'all should be getting is me. Should be. It's a sensitive mic, but there's nobody making noise around my house for a change.
As long as everything's good in the chat, it's really not that bad.
Yeah. And hello to House Lordbridge and our friend Miss Duncan the Tall in the chat. Hopefully you'll join us when you can. And Robbie, welcome.
Check out
anybody else in here? OTD. Hello.
Y'all don't know how to do the chat, put somebody's link in there yet, do you? I'm gonna do Casey's real quick, and then let's see, and then all right, let me do that. Y'all got to learn.
I used to be able to do it till they switched it. Now it's a pain. So there's
okay.
So anyways, this is
sorry.
Awesome.
Y'all want to get going? Go ahead. Yeah, I'm
new comments.
Just kind of whatever tonight. So
hope you guys are staying nice and cool. It's a crazy heat wave, and ironically,
not here, surprisingly.
Parallel with our story, they are also dealing with a crazy heat wave.
Nice reminder, Moni.
That Dunk is making everybody. I know. Hey, circles. That's right. So Dunk's making everybody bathe, which some of these guys have not bathed in a while. In fact, since last winter, which, as we know in this Westerosi world, seasons are decades long. They can be. So how gross is that, right? So some of these guys haven't bathed since the winter.
No, that's disgusting. That's bad.
Really gross. Really gross.
I couldn't even imagine living back then and not like shaving. I couldn't. I don't know. I guess if I had to, I would, but you know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather not. So, and it's taken me forever to do this. So we got them under there.
I told you, Karen.
I do it on other when I'm a mod for other people. So they're under there taking a bath, and Egg has to help Dunk fill up. How many?
It's 4 buckets to fill up.
Yeah,
kettle and 3 kettles to fill up the tub.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so this is like what I was saying last week. I feel like the whole first half of the story is just very like punctuated like riddles, you know?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Or I mean, it's like math, but whatever. It's just like this methodical redundancy to like the way it's being written, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree.
That I appreciate.
Yes. Yes.
It gets you in the mood.
Sir Bennis, I don't think he ever takes one. He just thinks it's.
No, he doesn't.
No, but he keeps his sword sharp.
Pain in the ass. And
he does.
So
keeps his sword sharp, but he smells like stinky cheese.
Which makes me think of Gorgonzola. When I worked at my uncle's deli, that was one cheese I had to touch and like cut and put on places, and my hands smelled for like a couple of days. I could not get that stink off. It was
when I have to think about who was the first guy who ate the milk that turned solid and said, maybe this is tasty.
What, for like yogurt?
No, well, yogurt too, but cheese, actual cheese. Like who?
Yeah,
they found it in the cave and said,
"Oh, I see what you're saying." Yeah, they're like, I think we're onto something with this. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it is delicious. I'm glad they did, but
can't do cottage.
I wouldn't have been the one who first tasted it. I wouldn't have been the guinea pig. Then again, who came up with like drinking milk, right? Wait,
Yeah.
I wonder if we can drink that.
I just know Louis Pasteur came up with the pasteurizing thing. But Duncan notices that something's wrong with him. He's not talking like he usually does, right in his 10-year-old mouth. And he wants to know what Duncan thinks Sir Eustace is going to do when it comes to this whole situation about the dam. Oh, hey, Peter. And that's why we left off with some of that last week. They found Lady Weber's and her maester supposedly instructed these diggers to put a dam up so it keeps the Osprey land from having none and all of her land, Cold Moat, to be drowning in it.
Oh, and she filled the moat. Oh no.
Right. Filled the moat with it. Yeah.
That might be later, but whatever. It's not that big of a spoiler.
Right. It is a little later. And it shows that Egg is like really worried about these guys now. At first he didn't want to help them. He didn't want to bow down and serve peasants and that kind of stuff. And Duncan had his talk with him, and he seems to have really changed his attitude about that kind of stuff. So he's
that's my broken corkscrew.
And then Duncan tells him that Roger of Pennytree was younger than Wet Wat, which I don't know how old he is, when he died on the Redgrass field. And Roger of Pennytree is Sir Arlen's nephew. So he was alive during that battle, but he fought for Lord Hayford. I've been trying to look some of this stuff up. So
yeah, Sir Eustace goes into detail with that later. We could talk about it too.
Yeah, that's fine. Not a problem.
For sure.
Does
the dream come next? Or
well, okay. Sort of. So Egg basically sees like there's no hope for our little band of ragamuffins and wants to save them from certain death and mentions his boot. And also I thought it was cool, like he remembered all their names. You know, remember they kept saying like, don't name a horse because then you'll love him and then or her and then you'll be sad to see it go. But they gave all of these people names now. And
Treb.
So he doesn't want to see them die. Yeah, because he can throw rocks. Our little trebuchet. And then also, through talking about Dunk, you learned a lesson on, the difference between a small folk war and like a big royal war. And we get more insight into how Egg has a lot of these like aha moments. Like he's really smart. He just doesn't know what he doesn't know. And that the Targaryens don't rule quite every little squabble. They don't put their hand in every little thing. And Egg's just like didn't seem to think that people still existed if the Targaryens didn't have their hand in it. And now he's learning that lesson. And again, with the like punctuation, with the like, let me show my boot. No, takes his boot off. I just want to know from Dunk.
What I was curious. I'm sorry, Moni, go ahead.
Oh, well, I just also like how he said about it's a war. So and Egg's like, no, it's not, because he's just like, this is stupid. Why are they fighting? And he's just like, well, it's a war for them. He's like, well, because then he compares it to people fighting for his family, or and they're like, and he's like, well, that was a war, and he's just like, well, because he's like, this kid is about to be married next week, and this guy, doesn't know his right from his left, and this guy, and Dunk's like, yeah, well, that happened in the wars that people were fighting for your brothers and uncles and everything too. So and he was like, but he's like, well, it's not a war, and he's like, but it is for them. Like it's just the small folk. Like you said, eye opener for Egg.
Stupider. That's what he thinks about it.
Yeah,
like these people, get over it, kind of thing. So
much like how he thinks of girls too.
That
so
too.
Cute.
And this is what I want to. This was a question I had. I don't expect y'all to know the exact answer to it. It was just kind of a theoretical question, a rhetorical question. Excuse me. Why did Baker let him do this? Let Egg do this? Like,
it's a really good question. I wonder about that a lot. I think some of it had to do with just, like, I hate to put it this way, but when somebody close to you passes away and you're just in, and not just like the crying grief part of it, but just this like place in your life where like you see, sometimes you just see things in a different way, whether it's more clearly or completely disheveled, like whatever it is, but like you're just in this like moment that could like difference, and you make decisions differently. So I feel like that was a part of it. He That's also good. Like if you remember, Dunk kind of challenged him. If Cece were here, she could tell you word for word, of course.
Like, but your sons didn't do this, and look at how they turned out, kind of stuff. Yeah,
and he was going to take him into his own service, but then Dunk just got the balls to be like, I want to be a hedge knight. And he really does belong there, he sleeps up on the roof and everything. Like,
I think that's awesome.
I feel like they're right where they need to be. They're such a good little duo.
I know. What do you think, Moni?
Like where they need to be? Yeah, together they are. They're excellent because I love that. I love that how, and that's when Doug. Oh my gosh, when Egg.
I do it all the time,
Doug. But when they had like when he was like, oh, well, this is war for them, and because like they're gonna get flattened, like they're just and Dunk kind of knows it too, but he's just like, but we serve our Lord, and that's it. Just like when people are called up to fight for your family, people are called up, and this is their life and death. This is, there's no water. The crops are gonna die.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool, both of their perspectives. And then that's when Egg's like, we shouldn't have named them. Like, you know, just like how he brings back that lesson that Dunk taught him. Like, you know, you're not supposed to, as a knight, you're not supposed to name your horse just in case it falls.
Yeah.
So now Egg throws that back at him. Like, well, then we shouldn't have named these guys.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I think I counted in all of these that he said I was going to clout you on the ear 6 times, but he does it once. Like, he finally does it. Like, I was like shocked. Like, I did not expect him to say that. And Thunderclap wrote in the one from last week something about oh goodness, about Long Inch. And when I first heard that name, I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but Long Inch, like, I thought penis joke, like, right then and there. I didn't even think about it. Sorry, dirty mind. I know.
It's all right. It's all right. Hold on a second. I'm listening. I'm just I gotta go.
Okay. All right, so they're not going to use the boot. And okay, this was something that I thought was a little strange too, is him mentioning the riddle about Bloodraven more than once. So is he scared he's spying? Is he, I mean, from what we know of what he's heard, it hasn't been that bad, except for when he was around Bloodraven and was staring at him and could feel him turn around and look back at him.
Right. Which part did he think about it again? That was before the dream?
He tells him it's good. You're consistent.
Oh, yeah, when he's like, when he wants to use the boot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder why that would be an issue for Bloodraven. Like,
and he was around Egg the last time he really thought about it too, when they were at the crow's cage. He's like worried.
Yeah. He is. And then that's what the dream,
I think, really there?
Pretty much is all about. Is him being worried. Okay, whoever wants to go through it, y'all be my guest. But that was what I gathered from it. He doesn't the guilt from Ashford, and then he the guilt about the guys at the tower, and then worrying that something's going to happen to Egg. Like, anyway, so y'all go ahead.
Well, he's the next thing. I'm not sure exactly how it goes into it, but he's dreaming, and all of a sudden, like all we know is he's digging in the sand and it's falling back in. He has one little spade, and there's these 3 knights from Dorne that are kind of like giving him the business about like wasting water, because he's actually crying. And they're like, what are you wasting water on your stupid, and this swayback horse? Like, are you kidding? Water is in short supply here. Hi, Cece.
Hey, Cece.
And it's just like, and then the first guy that says something to him in his dream is Sir Arlen. Was just like, and he didn't cry for me. And it's like, oh, like, but he's crying for, and he's like in his inner monologue, he's just like, oh, it's Chestnut. Like, don't just call it a swayback horse. Its name is Chestnut, which we just had that with Dunk and Egg at the tub, and about the naming of the name. So then not only was it the 3 Dornish knights that were giving him the business about burying the horse, and the sand dogs have to eat and this and that, but then Sir Arlen's like, yeah, he didn't cry for me. And then the next ominous figure was Baylor, right? And I forget exactly what he says. And then it's Valor, who also is
I don't know if Baylor did. I know Valor was there.
Yeah, Baylor was there.
Yeah, so
Baylor
it was just
there.
like,
he goes, you shed no tears for me either, said Baylor Breakspear from the grave. Though I was his prince, the hope for Westeros, the gods never meant for me to die so young. My father was only 9 and 30, said Prince Valar.
Yeah.
And it is,
all right,
and it is sad.
I'm sorry, you guys, but go back to when he was digging the grave, I guess as he was falling asleep. It's on page 151. And he writes a grave for hope, which totally like blew my mind. I didn't.
I didn't even catch that.
I didn't get.
Yeah, it's in italics. I'm still trying to figure out if there's anything to the italics. I'm not there yet.
Okay, there we go. Is she there?
Great for home. So then, oh gosh, I'm sorry, I fell behind on my pictures. Look, here is
there you go.
Yeah, I'm surprised to get like. I've got the graphic novel, and the tub's much bigger, but the pictures they do of him in the book, like, make him look like really make him look like a lot. All right, Cece, we kind of skipped ahead. Like, we got past the bath, and they're sleeping on the roof.
Oh,
and he talks about how seeing a falling star was supposed to bring you luck, so that's why he told Tansel to paint it on his shield. But after everything that happened, the only good thing was him getting to ride away with Egg as his squire, and he hoped he didn't see any falling stars that night. And then he has the dream.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. And they slept up on the roof, and then they had the dream, right? But the thing that I thought, you guys, was like super significant to me that jumped out, and I was like so geeked, like I actually had because you guys know the text so much better, but I had another parallel moment, like Gravedigger.
Sandor. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. A good one.
That was my mind blow moment for this chunk. But I was like,
oh yeah, good. That's awesome.
Gravedigger.
I'm like very new at like trying to like put the pieces together of like who are Doug's descendants. I'm like not.
Yeah, I'm terrible about it. So anyways, our friend came in. Oh no, I was just gonna introduce Cece, but now she disappeared again.
She keeps getting stuck. I guess it's like she said she's
having hotspot area
of the house. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Shoot,
what did I write down that we probably have skipped over? Oh, just about the Old Town thing, and it reminded me of Tyrion, even though he's on the Rhoyne, but it's still kind of the same deal with the pole boat, and of course there's not any grayscale dudes where they are, and they followed 100 puppet shows.
Yes, they looked and looked. It sounds like they never found her though, right? Or they don't say.
They don't. Well, he doesn't have any new memories. I'm thinking he never found her.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too, but we don't know for sure. So that's where it's left. And here's another picture of that creepy. So anyway, so there's these Dornish knights who are like mocking him, and as he's digging, and he's like, "Shut up, it's Chestnut." Like, this is his inner monologue, and like then all of a sudden all these ghosts pop up, right? And they're like, "Oh, well, he didn't cry for me. He didn't cry for me. Why is he crying for this horse? It's not a horse, it's Chestnut." Like, this is all his inner monologue. And then he looks down and he sees Big Rob, and he's like in the grave. Oh, and then there were surprise. So then at least we don't have to put each other in. Like, okay, Lori and I are free of responsibility. We're just talking here. So then he sees, and what does Big Rob say? Because he looks down at the bottom, and there's Big Rob at the bottom of the grave, and he says something like pretty ominous. I'm sure I have it highlighted somewhere. But
I will find it.
He's okay, thank you. Like something like he's dead or something, like I don't know. But it was really like, ooh. And then he notices everybody all
he's like, "Die," said Big Rob, the simpleton from the bottom of the grave, lying there with a big wound in his belly. And he looks up because he thinks he's going to see Sir Arlen, but instead he sees Sir Bennis.
Ooh, Bennis.
And he like repeats that line, like, "Gutting is slow but certain." And then all the Watts are dead, like everybody's just dead. And then Egg, and he's like, "Egg, we gotta run."
Yeah, like,
and it's a trap. Egg is just kind of like sinking in the sand. It's like that Atreyu never-ending story moment. And then like Dunk can't get him out, and they're just like sinking into the sand, which is just
right. Well, and then Sir Bennis, the Pennis, says, all this stuff like, well, I hope you like digging because you're going to not just dig for Rob, but what about me? And like he names off everybody. So all 8 of the small folk plus Sir Eustace plus for Bennis, the Pennis, plus for himself, and then he's just like, and then for Egg, and that's when he like flips out like, oh my god, like everybody can't, because he thinks they're chewing sour leaf, like
but
so
they're just blood
coming out of their mouth. Oh, it's just horrible. So anyways, don't worry, everybody doesn't die, it's just a terrible nightmare. So don't I don't know, eat the fish before you go to bed. I'm not quite sure, but
yeah, so, I mean, I really tried. Is this me? I'm sorry if it is. You hear that feedback?
No.
Oh, mic or anything? Oh, I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that. Yeah, I basically like read this over and got mad at myself that I was not a proper dream interpreter. But yeah, like what I could get from it from like a psychology standpoint was more just kind of like where it started. Like it started with the most recent death, which was Chestnut, right? Closest to him that he lost. So he's like digging that grave. And so that's where it kind of started with Chestnut. And he's like, okay, this isn't that weird, you know? And then it just kind of goes deeper into the psyche, you know, not to sound like hoity-toity or maybe I don't to whoever's listening, but you know, it goes deeper and deeper, and it just like it's just the guilt. He just like, I think character-wise, Dunk has this guilt. It's just in him, you know? It's almost like he's not religious at all, but it's like people who are like just have that, you know, religious guilt where it's like, I just can't do the wrong thing, or, you know what I mean? Or like, it's all my fault. He definitely had survivor's guilt from Baylor and the whole trial of 7 and like all, you know, the Humphreys, right?
Yeah. Yes. The Humphreys, both of them, brother-in-law.
Yeah, and it's a bottomless pit of guilt, one he cannot bury, is what I wrote.
I'm just moving to my phone. I can't deal with this internet crap anymore. I really can't. We just got a new modem in router, and I'm right beside it.
All right. Hello. We're still missing Cece though, but you're the only one who can bring her in.
Robbie, is it still buzzing in your ear? Because Robbie said he could hear the buzzing, Lori. So is it still giving you feedback in your thing? I don't hear it. So. Okay, good.
I don't hear it either.
So then the next part was.
Well, does anyone have anything to say about that dream?
Well, the dream, yeah. I just I told you.
I told you my awesome moment.
I was like, brain. I thought that like, yeah, Gravedigger. I thought like that one hit me in the face, so that was cool. And then oh yeah, like I put here's my notes. Damn, sand dogs. Because then they're talking about the sand dogs need to eat his horse, so he needs to dig deep enough to get it down.
Dogs, hound.
Ooh, because this is the first time we've ever heard of sand dogs before, right? So I said, oh, so
yeah, maybe think of dingoes or something.
Yeah, I've seen dingoes a lot on my. Oh no, not dingoes. Sorry, those are Australian. Right. No. On in my African safari, I saw wild dogs and jackals, but no, different subject. Sorry, yeah, like... grape jelly dragon. Okay, so what I got from it was that he was really upset about that he didn't cry for that he was crying for Chestnut, he didn't cry for Sir Arlen. See, that was the guilt that I thought he was feeling, like. And he didn't cry for Prince Baylor or and then the one thing that he said, like about I'm looking at my notes now, finally I found them, sorry Lori, for the dream was just how who will eat Big Rob, maybe the Checky fish, like because he's thinking about like what I was interesting how Dunk has no clue about a blood price in any way. I said it disturbed.
Oh, that's not yet.
By him never. Oh, sorry, that's too far ahead. Sorry, but like, so that part, I just yeah, who will eat Big Rob? Maybe the Checky fish. Like that was just a weird thing to think. I thought. Isn't that? Did
Sir Bennis say that?
I don't know.
It's a game setup.
I didn't like. I had my notes. I didn't underline it in the book as well. Haha. So hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Let me peruse. Let me peruse. Well, you guys go ahead. What are your
takes? You're right there. We're right there. So like once the dream is over.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's retraining. Huh?
What were your thoughts on the dream?
That was it. Carrie? Like I thought and I don't. Did you say Lori or Carrie? I'm sorry. I thought you
said both. I want you both.
I have nothing else. I wish I did.
I just said that I thought that it was like full of guilt and also, worrying that he is not going to
sorry, I'm focusing.
Not going to take care of Egg like he should or anything like that, be able to get done what he wants to get done. Why is my mic muted?
You multiplied.
Yay!
No.
Oh, there's two of you. Wait, I was like, yay! But it's not. It's two Carries. Hi, Carrie and Carrie. And we're still waiting for you.
There's two of me on here. Are you for real?
That's right. Double trouble.
It's not awkward at all.
I think. Oh, you know what, Carrie? I think one is your computer and one is your phone because they're two different angles.
No, I have no internet.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. All right. So wait, I'm looking to see. Oh no, that's the next part.
All right. So he wakes up from the dream and he's still with all of that. Oh no, everybody might die. He still goes into like training for a whole nother day. And there's that whole comical scene where like he rides them down on Thunder, and Egg starts like, like just laughing at him. Right?
Which
154?
Oh, okay. Refused within days.
Big Rob was the first to drop a spear and run away, and Dunk's like, "Oh my God, they're never gonna do good. Just everything they did was terrible." And then Egg starts laughing. Yeah, it's just terrible.
Great.
And then he feels all sticky and gross again, even though he took a bath. And then he remembers like his dream, and he's like, "But that's not how it happened. Like that's not how like Chestnut died. I never cried. I might have wanted to, but I never did. I wanted to bury the horse, but the Dornishman said